If you want to be wealthy, this is the number one time in the UK to learn to take advantage of this opportunity. These baby boomers have built amazing companies. They're either going to have to shut them down because their kids don't want to run them. Buy these companies, learn how to buy them with no money down, and learn how to then build them and keep those assets running.
Is that a choice? Do you want to be rich?
Yes, it's a choice. This is not something that's rocket science, mate. This is something that's real, and it happens all day, every day.
Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast, powered by ActionCOACH UK, the world number one in business coaching. Since 1993, we've helped thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs worldwide smash through their limits and achieve extraordinary results. This is more than a podcast, it's your blueprint for success. So grab a pen and paper, take notes, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for weekly growth insights. Let's do this. ActionCOACH, the help you need to grow your business. Right now, there's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to generate serious wealth, and hardly anyone's talking about it. Over the next decade, up to 700,000 profitable UK businesses will need new owners as baby boomers retire. In this episode, Brad Sugars reveals exactly how to buy them, how to build them, and how to sell them for massive profit, plus the simple rules that separate real entrepreneurs from gamblers. If you're interested in serious wealth and spending a week in person live with Brad Sugars, just click on the link below or see the link in the comments for more information. Brad Sugars, there's an urgent opportunity right now in the marketplace. So I've asked you to come on call and spread the joy. What is that urgent opportunity?
Well, you've got somewhere between 600 and 700,000 businesses in the UK owned by baby boomers. Those baby boomers want to sell those businesses. They're either going to sell them or close them down. They don't have family members wanting to take over those businesses. We're talking businesses with employees that are making a profit, but these owners are getting to an age where they just want to retire. So the opportunity right now is to learn how to buy these companies, learn how to buy them with no money down, and learn how to then build them and keep those assets running. And these are basic businesses. You see, in the next 20 years, there is going to be an absolute need for engineers, plumbers, contractors, locksmiths, all of the basic tasks. AI is going to replace all of the thinking people. So everyone said you go to college and do accounting or legal or do something like that. They're all out of a job. You know, 80% of things in business are routine. The 80% is going to be done by AI. The flip side of that is all these normal standard businesses that are ready for you to buy right now and buy at an amazing price because these people are retiring. They're willing to finance you buying their businesses. And if you don't know how to do it, then you're going to miss this massive wealth transfer.
I've heard you talk about that before. Is that what you define as a real entrepreneur, someone that goes out and buys multiple businesses?
A business owner owns one business. An entrepreneur buys and sells businesses, right? So if we can buy a business today, and what most people misunderstand about wealth, okay, let's do this, James. Biggest investors on the planet, what are they called? Venture capitalists, right? What do venture capitalists buy? They don't buy real estate, they don't buy shares, they buy companies. Why do they buy companies? The value of a company is based on its profitability, right? So if we can buy a company at 2 to 4 times profit, which you'll get these at, because you got to remember, James, there's between 600,000 and 700,000 of them coming up for sale in the next 5 to 10 years. That's half of the employer-based businesses in the UK are up for sale in the next 5 to 10 years. And if you're not taking advantage of this, you're missing out. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be so many of them for sale and not enough buyers. We're going to get them at even better prices right now. You buy the business. So let's do this, right? If I double the profit of a business, James, what did I just do? Doubled the value of the business, right? Do you think these baby boomers who are in their 60s and 70s and even up to 80s right now are working hard to run their business, or are they just letting it run themselves? Now, if you're an ActionCOACH client and you understand how to install ABOS, how to actually manage, lead, all of these things that ActionCOACH teaches, If you understand next how to buy a company, what are the rules for what sort of companies you should be buying and shouldn't be buying, you stand in front of a massive wave of wealth transfer. Massive.
Is that what stops people becoming a real entrepreneur? Knowing what to do, knowing how to buy businesses?
Well, knowing how to buy businesses, most people, how many businesses have they bought, James? None. So they don't know how to do it. They know how to start, or they think they know how to start, but they don't know. So it's really important that what we do is educate our clients, Action Coach clients, and anyone else, in fact, that wants to. If you want to learn the biggest opportunity that is the biggest wealth transfer in the UK will happen in the next 5 years. Think about it. 600,000 businesses need to be either sold or transferred in the next 5 to 10 years. Who's going to take advantage of that? I am, and anyone who I can teach it will.
What's the criteria for putting your hand up, I am, and saying that's me?
But you want to be rich. I mean, it's not that hard, mate. Buying companies, like I started buying companies when I was a 20-year-old kid. You know, I was buying them with no money down. Do you know why I used no money down, James? Because I didn't have any money. It's pretty simple. When you're a kid and you don't have any money, you got to learn strategic ways to buy and get what's called vendor finance, right? Vendor finance means that the owner lends you the money to buy the business. So you might give them 10% up front and pay the other 90% out of the profits from the business. I've taught literally thousands of students how to do this around the world over the years. But really what we're aiming to teach is how do you make a real offer on a real business? How do you do your due diligence? How do you do those things? And it takes me 5 days to teach someone that stuff, James. But if you want to be wealthy, this is the number one time in the UK to learn to take advantage of this opportunity. When you've got 600,000 or 700,000 businesses that are employer-based, they're not just solopreneurs. These are actually got employees. They're ready to go. People want to do it.
Is there a mind shift to go through from going from the owning one business to owning a portfolio, getting into acquisitions?
Yes. Yeah, you got to move from cash flow to capital value, right? And what I mean by that is a business owner thinks about cash flow.
True.
Revenues, sales, profits. That's what a business owner thinks of. An entrepreneur thinks of capital value. So, James, let's imagine this, right? Let's say I find a business and I can buy it for 3 times profits. Let's say it's doing $1 million a year in profit and I can buy it for 3 times profits. Now, here's the crazy part about that. What if the owner lent me the money to buy the business? I'm doing it right now with accounting firms in the United States. So I'm just rolling up accounting firms. There's in the United States, well, in Canada, I've just partnered with someone to do it in Canada. In Canada, there are 70,000 accounting firms owned by baby boomers who are wanting to retire that are doing $1 million with 11 employees or less. 70,000! So I'm just writing direct mail letters to all 70,000. What if you picked a genre and you said, you know what, I'm going to buy this. So we buy a business and we buy it at 3 times profits. Let's say it's doing $1 million a year in profit. What if we go and buy 5 of them in the same field, right? Say it's engineering firms or it's there's so many great businesses that do normal day-to-day things, James. What if we bought 5 companies that did pest control that were all doing $1 million a year in EBITDA? Well, once we're doing $5 million in EBITDA, all of a sudden venture capital companies want to buy us. So we go and buy 5 companies, we roll it up into a big group, and then we sell it to a venture capital firm. I mean, there's so much opportunity right now, and people just need to understand how much opportunity there is. But learning how to buy them, build them, and sell them is the key. How do you buy them? How do you build them? And how do you sell them? Well, the build is easy. You install ABOS, the Action Coach Business Operating System. So you get an Action Coach, they help you install those systems over 12 months, and hey presto, you've doubled or tripled the profit of the business in 12 months type thing. How do you buy it? Well, you come and hang with me for a few days and I'll teach you how to buy it. It takes me 2 days to teach you how to buy it and do the due diligence, because due diligence is really important, actually understanding how do you evaluate the business, how do you make sure that it's real, that everything that they say is there, you know? And then how do you sell it later on? You've got to learn how to sell. So, and learning how to buy and sell is a dual edge, because learning how to buy is also learning how to sell, because what the buyer is going to look for later on is the things that you're looking for when you're buying. So I have a set of rules that I teach people about it. Like, one of my rules is it must have repeat business. Like, it has to have repeat business. If it doesn't have repeat business, I'm not going to get into that business. Or able to have repeat business. Like, let me give you an example. The accounting firms that I'm buying, most of them have repeat business, but very few of them have a membership-based accounting. So we're installing a membership-based accounting process. So instead of you pay once a year to get your taxes done, now you pay every month, and we give you advice and training and education and all those sorts of things that ActionCOACH does.
I think there might be something more, business owners out there that I think everyone wants to be rich. There's natural connotations on that.
You're talking business owners, right? Let's say I'm a plumbing contractor right now, right? Let's say I'm in that business. Doesn't matter what business you're in right now. There are competitors of yours in other towns, in other cities, that are going to be up for sale in the next 12 months. So let's imagine, James, I spent 2 years working with an action coach, and I learned how to turn my plumbing business into a phenomenal business. Guess what I should do now?
Repeat it.
Yeah, go and buy 20 more plumbing businesses in 20 more towns and do exactly to them what I did to my first plumbing business. Increase the sales, the profitability, the marketing, all of those things that your action coach taught you how to do. Now go and do it in 20 more cities.
I've seen firsthand someone that's taken your advice on this, actually, and applied the simplicity, because everything you've said so far is pretty simple. It's convincing. Maybe it sounds too good to be true in some ways, but I've seen it firsthand with a dentist business, a guy called Kunal. He's gone and got Tooth Club. He's built a dentist business, and then he's just repeated it. He's got 20 dentists now.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a milestone.
Paul, you think of Paul, who's done it with, the buyers group of all of the trading companies, all of the hardware companies. Like, they're almost at $1 billion in revenue now in the UK, because they just kept buying companies. It's so, the thing is, James, and you said it seems too good to be true. These baby boomers have built amazing companies, and now they're either going to have to shut them down because their kids don't want to run them.
Yeah, I mean, look, just for everyone listening, is the baby boomers is 61 years plus.
Yeah, born between 1946 and 1964. So it's the opposite numbers. I'm the next generation, so I'm next on the list.
What's that? The legend generation, Brad? What is it?
Gen X, mate. Gen X. Yeah, the legend generation. Yes. We were 30. We were 30 when we were 15, and we're 30 when we're 60.
I've seen your dance moves, Brad. I've seen your dance moves. You're a legend.
Yeah, there's not many of them. So my kids call it lame dad shimmy. So
So buying, building, and selling, that's one part of wealth, isn't it? Buying, building, and selling.
Well, that's the active part of wealth. Business is active wealth, meaning it's something you need to be involved in to create the wealth, sort of thing. You buy a company, you build a company, you sell a company, or you build it to a point where it works without you, and then you let it run and just make you money whether you're there or not. I look at it, we have restaurants, and I was trying to think last night, when was the last time I went into one of my restaurants, and it's been forever. My brewing company, I don't think I've been into the brewery for 6 months. I haven't been in the brewery 6 months, although I did come up with a really great idea, James. So this is me. See, I love marketing, right? Love marketing, and I love branding. So the two beers that I just invented, one is called Traveller, TR. So not the full word Traveller, TR. So you take out the vowels, right?
Yeah.
And all of our marketing is going to be like truck drivers and taxi drivers, the beer you drink when you drive. So it's a zero alcohol beer. So, the Heineken zero alcohol type beer. Well, we're doing a zero alcohol beer called Traveller. It's a Traveller, mate. Would you like a Traveller? Yeah, take one for the road. And then my other beer that I've just made is it's a mid-strength beer. So it's 2.6% alcohol, not the 5% of a normal beer. And it's called All Day. Well, what are you drinking? I'm drinking all day. So can't drink all day if you don't drink in the morning.
Brad, as soon as you started talking about beer, the Aussie accent went even deeper. I am telling you now, You listen back to that. Deserves being a
There's
movie.
so much opportunity right now, James, in business. It's crazy. And to not know how to buy and sell companies is like, here's the thing. Imagine for 10 grand, I could teach you how to buy and sell companies. And like, this is what drives me nuts. People go, well, I'm going to invest my life savings buying companies. Well, do you know how to? No. Okay. Well, maybe invest 10 grand of your life savings learning how to so that you don't make a mistake like I did when I was a kid.
There you go. Investment of 10 grand. That's what it takes. Let's just come back to this active thing, because I've heard you say this part of wealth creation is the fun side. It's where you have the fun.
Mm.
Is that fun for you, buying, building, selling businesses?
I love it. I love it. I love buying companies. Like literally, this roll up of accounting firms. So now I raise the capital. So I have a simple rule, and I'll teach people why I have this rule if they want to come and spend 5 days with me. Um, if it's a startup, I use other people's money. If it's a buy, I use my own money. Because I know when it's a buy, I know what my return is immediately from purchase. If it's a startup, it's different. So I'm raising capital to go and do this accounting roll-ups. And I just love buying them. I mean, I go to accountants and I talk to them about buying their business from them. But to me, the deal making is so much fun. I get on a phone and I make a deal.
What makes a good deal maker, Brad?
Rules.
Knowing your own rules.
Yeah, having a set of written rules. If you don't have a written set of rules, you're not an investor. You're a gambler.
And is there an art to this negotiation of buying?
Oh yeah,
businesses?
Yes. So negotiation is about 20%. There's 40% of what you want is guaranteed. 40% of what they want is guaranteed. The 20% in the middle is what you got to negotiate. But the negotiation starts at the moment I start talking with someone. James, if I was buying your business, right? Let's say we're having a conversation, you're telling me about the business, and then I would say to you, by the way, James, have you ever thought of vendor financing? Now, what's the answer? 99% of people tell me when I say that.
What's that?
Yeah, what's that? I said, well, that's where instead of giving you all the money up front, we pay you over time for the business. Would vendor financing be something you'd consider? Oh, I've never really thought about it, is 99% of the time. But if I don't say that in the first phone call, when I get to making the offer and I do offer vendor financing, now they've had 2, 3, 4 weeks to think about it. It's become natural or normal to them. They start researching it and they look it up and they go, oh, yeah, that seems normal. Most companies buy it and pay you over 2 to 3 years, not straight up front.
Interesting. All right. So the negotiation starts straight away.
Yeah, well, that's where when I give people some scripts of what to say on the first phone call, I even have a checklist. On the first phone call, you go through a checklist. It's a simple page. I've used it for 30 years. And it just gives you all the questions to ask.
Okay, so what we're saying is we mentioned wealth, wealth creation, if you like, and you said the first area of that, the active area of that, is your business portfolio. Very different from managing one business to managing a portfolio of businesses as well. I want to acknowledge that. So if that's the active part, what are the other parts of wealth?
Real estate and stock market.
Okay, so pretty much, I know lots of people have all of these intentions of getting into property, real estate, as you call it, getting into, getting a property portfolio, but very few do it, Brad. That's the reality.
Look, so let's go backwards a step. Property is designed to create wealth over 20 years. It's not designed to create wealth overnight. And you see a lot of these TV shows where they do the renovations, they flip properties. That is the stupidest thing you can ever do, right? Why buy a property? James, let's imagine I found a piece of property that was £500,000, right? How much money do I need to put in to buy a property £500,000 on average? 20%, right? Now, some deals you'll get with 5% of the money down. Sometimes you might have to put 30% in, depending upon your financial situation, right? On average, though, you have to put 20% down. So I put 100,000 in, right? So what's my business's job? What's the job of my business? The job of my business is to make me 100 grand every year so I can buy another house. How many houses do you want to own to retire on? You want between 10 and 20. If you want to retire easily, 10. If you want to retire really well, 20 houses. Now, how do you get to 20 houses? Well, it's actually pretty dang simple. So I buy one house, £500,000, put up my 100 grand. Now, you might even have 100 grand equity in your current house that you could use to go and do this. And again, I can teach people all this stuff. You take that 100 grand, you buy that house. Now, you probably didn't pay full price for it because you probably negotiated a bit. You looked around and you found someone who was a bit desperate and they needed the money fairly quick. You also didn't buy a house that was brand new and looked perfect. You bought a house that was at least 20 years old and it looked old. The carpet looked old. The paint was not redone. The garden looked old. It just looks old. It's not run down. It's just old. I mean, it needs fixing. Now, I just literally last week, James, my daughter, I've got her doing this as her first home. She's 22, so she's buying her first home. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and the thing's 20 years old. It looks old. So she's going to go in. Guess what she's going to do on the weekends for the first year? Now, she's going to have 2 of her mates live in there with her. They're going to pay $700 each. That pays the mortgage. Because I'm teaching my kid wealth. I'm not teaching her friends wealth. But here's the deal. I put in 20%. Now, I might buy something that needs fixing up, so I might put in a couple more dollars to fix it up, and then I can get more rent for it. Does that make sense? Why am I fixing it up? So I can rent it for more. Why do I want to rent it for more? Well, what is the tenant going to do, James? The tenant is not paying rent. What are they paying? They're paying my mortgage. Now, if I have a 20-year mortgage, I put a tenant in there over 20 years. Here's the math. Let's imagine the house stays at the exact same price for 20 years. Now, we know it's not going to because we can do all the research. If I go back to 1935 in the UK, what do you reckon an average house was worth in the UK in 1935?
Very, very cheap.
£530. To buy a house, mate, the whole house. So here's the deal, right? I put in 100 grand. Over 20 years, my tenant pays the mortgage for me. What's my ROI?
4 times.
4 times. I paid 100 grand. I now own something 20 years later that's worth 500 grand. So I've got 400% ROI over 20 years if I do nothing other than let the tenant pay the mortgage. Now, if I increase the value by, and this is again what I teach people, what do you do to increase the value? What percentage should go into the kitchen and the bathroom and the master bedroom? What percentage of what you do when you do a renovation should go into the outside garden? These are things I can teach people. After doing this a lot of times, you've got to sort of sit back and go, yeah, you probably should spend that much on the kitchen and you probably should spend that much on the master bedroom and bathroom type thing. But here's an even better strategy, James. Imagine we just buy it. We don't fix it up. We don't do anything. We just buy it and we hold it for 10 years. Now, on average in the UK, if you're in a normal city in the UK, not sort of rural areas, but a normal city in the UK, on average over 10 years, it'll be just more than double. It'll be just over double the price is what happens in the UK in a normal city, right? Some cities like London, it goes much faster than that. Other cities, it'll go a little slower than that. Rural towns, it'll go even slower because there's plenty of land around them, right? 10 years, it doubles in value. My 500,000 property is now worth $1 million. I go back to the bank and I say, hey, Mr. Banker, this is worth $1 million. How much will you lend me against it? And Mr. Banker says, I'll lend you 80%. So I still owe, let's pretend I didn't pay off any of the 400, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Still owe 400, 10 years later. It might be down to 300, might be 350. I borrow 800, pay off the 400. I've got 400 left. What do I do with that 400? I can live on it, or I can split it into 2 deposits and go and buy 2 more houses. So 1 becomes 3. Every one you own becomes 3 if it doubles in value. Because you can buy 2 more off that 400 grand you borrow, because everything's now worth $1 million. So you need 200 grand to be your deposit on the next 2. Now, what if I could teach you to do that really fast? What if I could teach you to buy it, renovate it, and get your deposit back in 90 days? That's what I teach.
And is that a reality? Is that any?
My daughter's like my kid. I'm not this. This is not something that's rocket science, mate. This is something that's real, and it happens all day, every day. I'm watching one of my students, his name's Volta. Volta's out there teaching the same strategy to everyone that I taught him a few years back. I mean, Volta came to my courses. He's out there, got millions in real estate now, teaching everyone else the same stuff. One of my students in New Zealand, his name's Ron Hoi Fong. He runs a company called Ronovations. I taught him a strategy.
Ronovations, that is too funny.
20-something years ago, I taught him this strategy, right? You go and buy a 2-bedroom apartment that's got a big dining room. Does anyone use a dining room today? No one uses a dining room. So you take a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, you turn it into a 3-bed, 2-bath apartment, and all of a sudden you've increased the value by between 20 and 30%, depending upon the suburb you do it in. So Ron teaches this strategy, right? He's taught it all. I went down there, it's got to be 10 years ago. I'm the patron of their group. The group, all of his students together at that time, owned $1 billion worth of 2-bedroom apartments that they'd turned into 3-bedroom apartments in Auckland, New Zealand. Now they're at $2 billion worth. He wants me to come back down and hang out.
No, so if it's 10 years ago, it's doubled.
Yeah. They want me to come down and do it again. Like, let's go and celebrate more. The thing is, James, you've got to learn it, and people just don't bother learning how to do this stuff. Wealth is really easy. You buy companies and fix them, and you buy real estate and fix them. There's no more complex than that, but you got to make the offers. You got to understand how to make the offers. You got to understand the rules. And by the end of 5 days with me, I get people to have 2 sets of rules. One set of rules, what business will I buy? What business won't I buy? What are my rules for what I will and won't buy in business? And what are my rules for what I will and won't buy in real estate?
What about that other area of wealth then? Which
The
is
stock market?
stock market. Yeah. But
Now, I don't teach that, and I'll tell you why I don't teach it, is because I have to go and get licensed to teach that.
right.
But I'll tell you how simple it is. If you can buy businesses, you can buy shares. You buy shares in companies that you believe there's got good management and good business. But usually, see, I buy shares, James, and I love new energy business, right? So I just bought shares in a company 2 days ago, and their business is, when you go down the highway, they've got those big fences down the highway sort of thing, and they make them out of concrete or wood, depending upon where. Well, this company's turned those into solar panels. So they make solar panels that is cheaper. It's cheaper than putting up a wood fence or a concrete fence. It's solar panels, and it does it right down the highway. I'm like, that's a genius idea. I'll invest in that.
And that's for like sound reduction type thing.
It's sound reduction, and it makes power. Yes.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I invested in one a few years back, and now they're blowing up. They literally, how when you turn your air conditioner on, it condensation comes and it creates water, right? Well, actually, you're in the UK. You guys don't need air conditioning, do you? I'm here in Vegas. We need a lot of air conditioning.
But yeah, I mean, some people do. Some people do.
They literally put these things out in the desert, but it sucks the water out of the air and it just creates water out of nothing. And now it's become economically viable. When I invested, it wasn't economically viable. Now it's economically viable. So I own shares in that. Like, I just love buying shares in companies. My dad was a genius in shares. He loved mining. He ran mines. And so he can read a geological survey and tell me if it's any good or not. I can't, right? So he would invest in mining companies, and he did really well out of mining companies. My father-in-law, he loves reading about companies, and so he invested in Amazon and Visa way early, way early. He got into Amazon, So, but he loves reading about companies, and he'll just sit and read all day, and then he'll pick good companies.
You've alluded to it several times, actually. So spend a week with me. Now, you are coming over to the UK for a week anyway, Brad, on the 22nd of September for a week. What would qualify someone to be in that room with you?
Can you get away for a week? Can you beg, borrow, or steal to get 10 grand to be there? And do you want to be rich?
Do you want to be rich? That's twice. That's the second time you said that. Is that a choice? Is that a choice? Do you want to be rich?
Yes. Yes, it's a choice. What do most people like? I mean, I love the UK, James. I come there a lot and I love it. But there's this mindset, and it's a very UK thing. It's one of the reasons I moved to the US is when you move to the US, like, If I said I was going to build $1 billion business here in the US, you know what people would say to me? Oh, great job. That'd be amazing. Well done. If I said it in the UK, what do you think the average person's going to say to me? Oh, you can't do that. You know, I want a group of people, James, that come together who all will support each other, become a great community of people who want to help each other build wealth, who'll work together. Like, so my daughter, this house she's buying, she said, well, Dad, how do I renovate it? I said, well, you buy pizzas and beer. She said, what do you mean? I said, you call your mates up and you go, listen, I need to paint the house. I'm buying pizzas and beer. I need you to come and work for a few hours. Buy the paint, buy the brushes, get your mates over and get them to do the work. You know, there's the roller. Off you go. Do that room.
Leverage, Brad. Leverage.
But this is the thing, James. Deciding you want to be rich is a pretty easy decision. Learning how is the work. And the hard work is not doing. The hard work is learning. The hard work is the learning work. And unfortunately, James, there's not many people like me who've actually built wealth who want to teach. Most people who've built wealth don't want to teach. It's hard teaching, and it is. To spend 5 days teaching people this stuff is hard work. It's hard work.
That's the reason
I love teaching, mate. I love it.
The reason I asked you, is it a choice? Because you got to choose to move from whatever you're doing now to wanting to be rich, which is learning out how to develop a portfolio of businesses, a portfolio of properties at the same time. And it's commitment. It's like learning marketing. You got to study it. You got to study the greats and keep up with it. So,
you know the interesting thing, James?
Go on.
The people watching this podcast have already decided they want to be wealthy. The people watching this podcast are not people who want to be poor. People who want to be poor would not watch you and me. They would have been turned off after the first minute of me saying there's a massive opportunity for wealth creation. The wealth shift is happening. They would have turned this podcast off. If you're still watching this, you need to be there with us because you already know you want wealth. The question is, are you willing to do the work to get there? I remember when I was a kid, James, I went and saw Jim Rohn, James Rohn, and 16 years old, and it was $600, $595 to get a ticket. And I called and asked, could I get a discount on the ticket because I was a kid? Is there a student discount? Is there a scholarship rate? And the man said to me, he said, son, listen, I'm going to make this very, very simple for you. There is no scholarship rate. There is none of that. You have to pay full price, and you'll learn just as much by working out how you get here as you will by actually being here. So I want everyone that's still watching this to find out how to get there. So call your local action coach and work out a way to get there.
You reminded me of Jamil Qureshi. He said at BizX a couple of years back, he says the price of success is paid in full and in advance. It's a big commitment. And, you know, but I felt it, Brad, here today. I've been making notes as you've been saying this, and I felt your challenge, actually. You know, so if people are there for, you know, I'm going to be there with you for a week. I'm going to feel the whole thing. And I kind of feel like you expect me to do all of this now.
If you're in the room with me for a week, your life will change. It just is. Just by being with me for a week, just by listening to what I say and the way I say it, your life will change just by that week. The friends you make in that room, your life will change. It's not hard to understand. If you're in a room with other people who want to be wealthy, your life shifts just by being in the room. It's like going to a concert, mate. You know how you can listen to music on a CD or on an iPod. There, I just showed my age. I'm not the baby boomers, but I'm close. If you listen to music like that, that's one thing. But if you actually, you know, go to the concert, totally different thing.
Totally different thing. Brad, any final pearls of wisdom for people who want to become seriously wealthy for the future?
You have to grow into your goals. Your goals become a reality when you grow into them. So do the study, do the learning, grow into your goals.
You did that on me once, by the way. You said, your goal's not big enough, James.
Yeah.
You're not going to develop on the back of it enough.
You didn't need to grow to achieve your goals, is what I was pointing out to you at the time. Your goals were easily achieved just by doing more of what you did.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. Brad Sugars, thank you very
Cheers,
much.
mate. Look forward to teaching everybody. Look forward to having a fun week in the UK. And I look forward to going to London to my favourite restaurants and having a pint or two. Cheers, mate.
If you're interested in serious wealth and spending a week in person live with Brad Sugars, just click on the link below or see the link in the comments for more information.